cat poop went?
If you want your pet to talk to you, better expect every single bean to be spilled.
Bunny the talking dog, like I am obsessed with her. I follow 2 accounts on TikTok, Inside Edition and Bunny.
No way.
Alexis Devine is Bunny's human. She got the idea for the customized board the 15-month-old Sheepadoodle uses to talk from speech pathologist Christina Hunger.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Who essentially taught her doggie Stella to talk using a specially designed soundboard.
You wanna go outside still? You wanna go to the park?
I devoured her blog, purchased some buttons, and had one waiting by the door when Bunny came home with zero expectations and completely underqualified to be teaching my dog how to talk. But I just thought, what an amazing gift this is, for us to be able to hear our dog's thoughts.
Or Bunny's existential crisis.
What's she saying? We started with an outside button by the door, and I pressed it every time she wanted to go outside. I'd open the door, press the button, stay outside. And within a few weeks, she was using it consistently to let me know that she wanted to go outside. And at that point in time, it was game on. Let me let you outside real quick. Got a bigger board, started adding buttons, and I was like, oh, this is so exciting. I'm gonna see how far I can take it.
There you go.
What was the moment or which phrase kind of shocked you the most? Like, wow, she can really put that together.
I guess the things that really stick out in my mind the most are the times she's been able to tell me when she's in pain. We live in a place that's just got a ton of foxtails. Twice this summer, she was able to tell me that she had an ouch in her paw. In your paw? And then she came over to me, put her paw in my hand, and I was able to find it and pull it out before it became something more serious that required medical intervention. And those moments are phenomenal. This stranger in her paw, she's got a mat between her toes.
About 6 months in, the Tacoma, Washington native got in touch with behavioral scientists in San Diego. At that point, they expanded Bunny's button board, technically called an augmentative alternative communication soundboard. Stretched to more than 70 buttons, now Bunny is working on the concept of time.
Afternoon now. It's night later.
Clever Pet is the company that produces some of those buttons. And so they were like, what do you think about this? And my initial reaction was like, that's great. A lot of these tools have been previously used with non-human primates.
What you want?
Federico, along with his team at UC San Diego, is looking for more participants in their study of pets.
Treat?
Not just dogs, at theycantalk.org, using Bunny's same concept. And like Bunny, cameras are rolling on these guys 24/7, so they can collect all the info, not just the highlights.
Mom, yes, mad. Why are you mad?
Bunny seems to be going through kind of a learning process that is very comparable to young children learning to speak. And so kind of toddlerhood. And so right now, for example, Bunny produces a combination of 4 or 5 words as vocabulary of 70 words. And we know, for example, that for young children around 18 months, that's when they start producing 2-word sentences. But usually they do that when they have a vocabulary of about 50 words.
When Bunny went park.
We're not trying to sort of make them different from what they are. What we're trying to see is if they can learn something. And by learning this, now they can communicate more clearly with us, things that otherwise we might never know they're even thinking about or caring about. One of the things that we are seeing is responses by several dogs about the human emotions, like dogs asking humans to settle down. They would get riled up, for example, by watching TV or by discussing with partners, and the dog is sort of trying to communicate, settle.
Mom, settle now.
And those kind of things become particularly interesting because what we know about dogs, and there's recent studies showing that, is that they're very tuned in into human emotions. They can read facial expressions, they understand when we are upset. Their heart rate changes when they hear us crying.
That's really good. Yes! Wow, this is the first time she's really using the buttons. I love you.
He says dogs who are doing better with the soundboard are those who are motivated by praise instead of treats.
Love you. Love you.
Aw, love you too, Bones.
Where do you hope that the work you're doing with Bunny will lead us?
Well, I'm definitely fascinated to see what results from the scientific studies. But from the very beginning, this has all been about my relationship with Bunny, me developing the strongest bond possible. That continues to be my goal.
Alexis hopes Bunny's learning adventure can also help others gain more insight into their own relationship with their floofy family members.
I also think it's a really unique way of spreading awareness and of people realizing that animals are sentient, that they have a lot more going on cognitively than we may have thought in the past. And I think some of the most positive feedback that I get on my social platforms is from people saying, we don't ever plan to use the buttons, but your page and your relationship with Bunny have just inspired me to listen more to my dog, to try and understand what they're saying, to give them the space to respond. Okay. That was very clear.
Here's what I wanted to ask you. When she runs around the table, like she'll be right in front of the buttons, but she must go around this table in order to get back to the button. What is that?
It's her thinking circle. She does that a lot. She does that very, very, very frequently, like around the pole or around the table or just all the way around the buttons. I'd say like 95% of the time she's doing thinking circles. Yes.
So imagine if you start thinking about your pet, not as just something else that happens to be in your house that you need to feed, but as an interactional partner, as somebody that you can spend time with, you can play with, you can share something with, and hopefully, something that gives you also a lot of joy and a lot of happiness.
Love you, Bunny.
Love you, Bunny.
And when you have such sweet things to say, how could you not want to hear them?
Yeah, Bunny friend, that's right.
No matter who it comes from.
Bunny. Friend.
Yes.
For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Stephanie Officer.